Israel gets treated differently because Israel is an ally, right? That's the reason we won't sell defensive weapons or really do anything to protect Palestinians or Iranian civilians as we're bombing their little girls' schools or Lebanese civilians. One of the questions that I think the American people are asking, and I'm asking, is what are we getting out of this relationship? I view this more through a moral lens. I think Israel's committing a genocide as an apartheid state. I think it should be sanctioned the way South Africa was. I think that level of pressure should be applied to compel moral behavior. I think we should have international law. I think our willingness to observe and support the barbarism of Israel in Gaza has effectively destroyed international law. What do we get out of Israel being this key ally, given the fact that Israel has helped persuade the president to enter into this disastrous war, given the fact that Israel has helped to destroy international law? Why are we holding so tight to this alliance with an actor that is not only immoral, but has helped to foment a massive strategic disaster for the United States of America and the globe?
Well, I think what you're hearing me say is that the U.S. shouldn't be having that kind of a relationship with an Israel that is doing the things that you're outlining. This Israel under Benjamin Netanyahu, the things that it has done over these last 20 years, by and large, they have hurt American national interests. What we want to see is a Middle East that ends these conflicts, provides Palestinians with an actual route to self-determination that begins to tap into the incredible opportunity Israel provides to the region to be a technological and economic engine of growth. We call it a 23-state solution. Can Israel become a functioning member of the region and work with all of its neighbors? The type of Israel under Netanyahu, Ben-Gvir, and Smotrich that does what it did in Gaza, burning down the West Bank, fomenting religious warfare, convincing Donald Trump to go to war, that is not an asset to the United States, but it can be. When I say J Street is pro-Israel, we are advocating for a different future.
It just seems to me to require a sort of suspension of reality to imagine the Israel that you're talking about. For example, you've said you expect there'll be a new government in place that isn't as extreme. Naftali Bennett, the critique he's had of Netanyahu with regard to the Iran war is that he wasn't brutal enough. He's made plenty of his own racist, incendiary comments, whether it's with regard to Gaza or with regard to Arabs more broadly. If that's the moderate in Israel, it's just very hard to imagine without applying the kind of pressure like we applied and the globe applied to South Africa and without using international sanctions and compelling different behavior. If you're relying on the democratic vote of Israeli Jews, 82% of whom support the expulsion of residents of the Gaza Strip entirely, we're nowhere close to the universe that you would like to see.
I, don't necessarily agree. It is in Israel's long-term interest, and this is the case that J Street will continue to make, that Israel can only have a future worth it for the Jewish people if it compromises and allows there to be a Palestinian state. What it gets out of that is normalization of its relations with Saudi Arabia and the whole Gulf. It needs political leadership, and I will fight for it. I believe it's possible. I know there are examples in history of this happening. That's why we do the work that we do.
But at this point, when the reality of what Israel is doing on the ground is so different from what the liberal kind of vision for it is propping up that liberal vision of it, fueling a delusional level of support for the reality on the ground.
Only if one is not calling out that delusion. I do not spare any words in terms of describing just how awful these people are and what they're doing, how it violates every shred of my Jewish moral identity, everything that I've taught my kids about what it means to be a good person and follow the ethics and the morals of our people. I write about this every week. No one's giving up on the vision of what an America can and should be. I won't give up on the idea a state that is the national homeland of the Jewish people can also treat the other people who live there well and can live at peace with its neighbors, including a state for the Palestinian people. And the horrors of this last few years is actually a moment for Israelis to take a look and say, well, maybe it actually is time to try a non-Netanyahu path. Believe that this is a really important argument to make to people both in this country and that country.